One of the important issues to be addressed in recent AI-driven times is how can research scholars acquire knowledge and simultaneously contribute to and communicate with society. Related to this question is what is the role of scholarship in contemporary times? So here I share three thoughts that I wrote mainly with young researchers in mind, but I'm also hoping that it may find use even among other people. The first point is that pursuit and utility of knowledge is the primary task of a scholar, and managing the perception of that knowledge is secondary in nature. This means a scholar should use a majority of their time, resource, and energy in enhancing the scholarly knowledge. And in cases where there is utility, apply that knowledge in the outside noisy world. This is your personal knowledge, you see, based on your efforts and your experiences. And this cannot be replaced instantaneously. This also brings a kind of an uniqueness to the knowledge what you have acquired. So once you have this knowledge, you can venture into creating a realistic perception about your own knowledge. Now remember that learning and researching to a large extent are under your control, whereas how the outside world perceives your knowledge is not under your control. Therefore, it would be prudent to pay more attention to learning and doing things rather than creating a perception. You should note here that I'm not saying that perception is unimportant. All I'm saying is that perception is of secondary importance. So let me now talk about the second point. One of the key learnings in research and education is that the world is always open to good knowledge and ideas, be it academia or industry or any other thing, whatever you choose to work on. People are always interested in interacting and hiring people with a sound knowledge base. It may take a while for somebody to discover your knowledge, but if you have a strong foundation and then you go out to the world and interact with it, it is very difficult for the world to ignore you. Remember this. This means that having good, groundwork, you should be able to share that particular work, what you have already done, with the outside world. This can be a research paper or an engineering prototype or any form of science for that matter. It can be even art or any talent you have. The crucial point here is to first do the hard work and then venture into sharing of that particular work. Now going to the point number 3. In your work, do not compromise on rigor. If you are a researcher, your first commitment should be towards addressing your scholarly peers or specialized industry and then broadening your communication. Within scholarly communication, you will have to address questions within the research community. What does this mean? This means you will have to be basing your work on a large body of knowledge and subjecting yourself to internal and external criticism. This is where rigor comes very handy. Here, rigor does not mean unclear communication. This is something you have to keep in your mind. It means to have thought through the questions, nuances, and complications of a problem, and have a broad and balanced view of the research problem. General audience sometimes perceive rigorous scholarly communication as something which is filled with jargon and complications. Therefore, it is always better to create two versions of your work. One for your peers and one for general audience. In the age of AI, creating a second version is much easier compared to, let's say, the first one, because you can always take very good content and then transform it into something where it can be catering to a general audience. So remember that your expertise will be vital in creating the second version for the general audience. This is also a place where you can bring your authenticity and creativity to the knowledge what you're trying to create. This can also broaden the scope of your knowledge without compromising your scholarship, which is equally important. So these are some of my fleeting thoughts. Like all thoughts, you should and you can criticize them, edit them, expand them, and adapt them to make your own version of this particular thing, what I just mentioned. Remember, that is how knowledge moves forward, by criticizing, editing, expanding, and adapting. I hope that will be useful for you to think forward.